Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinobihari Mandir in Shri Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patik Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vinobihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So we will begin with Sri Gauriya Giti Gucha, Mangalacharan, Bandeham Shri Guru, B-A-N-D-E, Bandeham, page 1.
Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaho Vishnupadaya Gauravnesthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Iti सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी गणिकाय कृपाभये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दहिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाध्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिना श्रीगौरा करुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनपालिने रूपानुगविनुभाव सिद्धान्तोद्भन्तहारिणे गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदं पूजायते नमः ो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्दिष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णव सार्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतं सुरतो पङ्गो मम मन्दमते गति मत्सर्वस्वत्तलम्बोज राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमरो श्रीमद्रत्नाकरसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठानिधि सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्र सरसारम्भे वंशिवततस्थितः कर्षन्वेणुस्वरगोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावग्निनिर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दा बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदम् पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मसमनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् हरे नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलम् कलो नस्त्येव गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Shri Guru Charana Padma. Page 28, starting with SRI, Shri Guru Charana Padma. Do you help? Sudevi. Sudevi.
What?
Do you need help?
I was trying to make it so it wasn't blowing on me.
Yeah,
but
I can
think
fix it quick.
I turned the heat on.
Yeah. Yep.
No, is it? Did I turn the heat on? Sorry.
No.
I'm sorry, devotees. I'm cold. You keep it.
It's all going that way.
Okay.
Shri Gurudev ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai.
Thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu.
Pranam, pranam.
We already posted.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevalam Bhakti Sadma Bandhu Savudhano
I just wanted to say something about Sri Guru Charana Padma. One thing is, I led that so often for Srila Gurudev that when I'm singing it, I see him sitting there. Also, when Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj was here, I was also leading it for him. It was beautiful to have that remembrance. When I close my eyes, I see them sitting there and singing that for him.
200?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
No. Shri Krishna. What is it? Kabe Shri Chaitanya More. And especially this line, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, Chite Te Koriya Aikya Ar Na Kori Ho Mane Asha. Srila Gurudev always preached and wanted to impress within us that Guru Nishtha, or firm conviction in the conceptions, the teachings, the moods, the practices, the way of Sri Guru. This is the backbone of Bhakti. The backbone of Bhakti. So here it's saying Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriya Aikya. That the words coming from the lotus mouth of Sri Guru, these will purify my mind. Arna Kori Homane Asha. I do not aspire for anything else. So visit Pujapad Bhakti Kamal Govind Maharaj. He told us previously, he said so many people will say so many things, even different from your Gurudev. He said, even if I say something different from your Gurudev, don't listen to me, listen to your Gurudev. And then he said, we're not followers of this conception or that conception or this book. He said, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. You follow your Gurudev. So many people will try to impress on us different ideas or different conceptions other than that of the conceptions of Sri Guru. But we follow the conceptions of our Gurudev. So now we're going to call out Kabe Shri Chaitanya More Kori Dena Doya. What page is it?
75.
75.
If you don't have the songbook or the Gaudiya app or KK app, just scroll down to the bottom of the page and Jiva Pavana Prabhu kindly puts the bhajans there and sometimes adds some wonderful nectar. So make sure you keep scrolling down.
Hare
Today is the day of Nityananda Prabhu giving mercy to Raghunath Das Goswami. Here in India, in Vrindavan, we are celebrating the Chindadahi Mahotsav. So Nityananda Prabhu engaged Raghunath Das Goswami in serving the Vaishnavas, and he served them chick rice with yogurt and fruit, I guess. So Raghunath Das Goswami received the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu by Nityananda Prabhu placing his two lotus feet upon Raghunath Das Goswami's head. So we will sing, not sing, pray, call out, Nitai Pada Kamala, Goti Chandra Shushitala, page 58, Nitai.
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Pavan Shri Nityananda
Devadi Deva Gaura Chandra Goridasa Mandire. Page 85, starting with Devadi, Devadi, and the name of the bhajan is Goridasa Mandire, but the first word is Devadi. 85.
Devadi Deva Guru Chandra Goridasa Mandire. Devadi Deva Guru Chandra Goridasa Mandire. Devadi Deva Guru
Something not too hard, okay?
Huh?
Something not too hard.
Jai Jai Sundarananda Kumar.
What page?
344.
344.
344. I think so. 344. Jai Jai Sundarananda Kumar. Jaya Jaya Sundara Nanda Kumar. Jaya Jaya Sundara Jaya Jaya Sundara Nanda Chakra I am a little bit confused. In the second verse there, it says, Pranay Janerita Bandana Sahakrita. Bandana means prayers. Chandana means chandan, sandalwood, and vadana means face. In the context of this prayer you see here, we don't see anywhere where anyone is offering prayers, but actually Rupa Goswami is describing the beauty of Krishna's face. Abhinava Kutmala Gucha Samujvala. How his massive curling locks is adorning his face brilliantly with so many beautiful flowers. And then the next part says, you are decorated with colored powders mixed with camphor. Now colored powders mixed with camphor, usually this is chandan. They mix chandan with camphor here, especially in the summer season, and they place it on the forehead, and that is very cooling. So whenever any honored guest comes, then they always have a flower and they put chandan on them so they are feeling cool. The description here is not of vandana prayers, which is said in there, but it is actually mentioned chandana sahakrita churnita varadhana sa. So I will ask a source, any source, or do some research to see if maybe that word is actually incorrect. Vandana, maybe it should be chandana. Because also they would do decorations on Krishna with chandan. Chandana sahakrita. But here it says the decorations are made by the gopis throwing these colored powders on Krishna. So it sounds like holy.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because Jiva Pavana Prabhu, he requested Palyadasi Kari. And you were feeling that it was way too high and intimate because you don't know the audience. But I know we've sung Radha Krishna Pranamora, which is exactly what the prayer is to become. And so I'm wondering what the difference is between singing When Will That Day Come, that I will be engaged in all of this, and the difference between saying that I'm going to do all of this. What's the difference? Because here, in Radha Krishna Pranamor, it talks, I will anoint their dark, it's telling you.
Right.
And here, it's just praying for it. So I'm wondering why we're making a distinction between our goal and...
The specifics of the goal?
Yeah, if you could answer that.
Alright. Keep the tambura on low. Did everyone hear the question? So there was a request for us to sing Palyadasi Kori, which is written by Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. It is in the Siddhi Lalasa, Hankering for the Ultimate Perfection section of our Gauriya Giti Guch, and I am hesitant to sing it publicly. This is public because I don't know who's entering, who's singing, or anything like that. And I'm hesitant, but Sudevi mentioned, but we sing Radha Krishna Pranamor publicly. On top of that, we even sing Maha Mantra publicly.
But Radha Krishna Pranamor in specific is saying, I will string flowers and place them around their necks. It's going deeply into it. But this is just the prayer to have that perfection.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, why is it we'll sing one but not the other?
So first of all, Srila Gurudev did allow us to sing Radha Krishna Pranamor publicly, but when it came to other prayers like Gandharva Samprartanashtakam, Dekite Dekite Gulavo Bhakave, and Palyadasi Kari, he was a bit more reserved about it. Interesting, isn't it? So, my only answer at this point to that is there is a very specific indication of one's own service mood in this one. In Radha Krishna Pranamor, it's a bit more general. But here it's specifically talking about the seva of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. And Srila Gurudev would always warn us that we should keep our deep bhajan covered like camphor. We were just talking about camphor in the last bhajan. Camphor has a very interesting quality. It's a solid, but if you leave it in the open air, it evaporates. It has a fragrance, but it will dissipate, especially if humidity is involved, and very quickly it will evaporate. So Gurudeva was explaining that for our own bhajan practice, the deep moods that we are experiencing in our hearts, if we open that up publicly, or especially in front of anyone who may be antagonistic, then very easily we can lose everything. So he said only open up that kind of thing in very carefully selected sajati ashray snigdha sangha, who is affectionately inclined toward us, who is like-minded, who has the same mood, the same goal, and who is also helpful toward us, who is beneficial. And also that person must be very, very intimately close to our hearts, because it is the most intimate thing of our soul. At certain times even Sudevi requested Gurudev, can I sing this bhajan or this bhajan? And he would allow her to sing it once, maybe in Varshana, but then he would actually say, this bhajan is not really to be sung in public. This is for my own internal bhajan.
I never asked him if I could sing.
No, Gurudev asked if a bhajan could be sung, and she suggested it. He allowed that bhajan to be sung once, and then he gave the correction or the instruction regarding that this is for our own internal bhajan. Every day he does that in his own internal bhajan, and even during his Mangalacharan, before class, he would sing Ha Devi Kaku Bharagat Kataya Devacha. But still, he would keep it very private. These very intimate things about one's own internal Sevasara Rupena, Siddha Rupena Chatrahi, that Siddha Rupena, what I am doing, there's some shyness, some hesitation which manifests in terms of just, we say, projecting it publicly. And Gurudev would explain to us that we will lose what we have if we express or expose publicly that deepest sentiment of our heart, that thing can be lost. So we should treasure that thing, keep it very close. Other things, more general things, then that can be shared publicly, but these deeper internal moods of our nitya seva potential, he said, those we should keep very, very close, near, deep inside. One time I was feeling so much inspiration on the path of bhakti, and one devotee heard, and he literally just said, poppycock, what kind of nonsense is that? And it felt like he blew up like a blowtorch on my inspiration. Everything finished, because I had revealed it inappropriately to the wrong person. I revealed my inspiration to the wrong person. So Gurudev warned us to be careful for these things. Radha Krishna Pranamur, he would have us sing in front of him publicly, and also Jai Jai Radha Krishna Jugal Milan. So somehow there's a bit more of a depth of the internal mood of the Palyadasi or maidservant service mood manifests through these bhajans. And Gurudev actually recommended that we should take more shelter of them privately or in very closed association with like-minded, affectionate devotees. Okay? Would you like to add to that?
No, I wasn't asking on behalf of the devotees. I was asking on behalf of me.
Oh.
It wasn't like I wanted to add something. I was just wondering why it is we can sing the actual activities of the goal and not sing the actual prayer for the goal in public. It just seemed, I know what Gurudev said, it's just I was wondering what the difference is.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada didn't even allow his disciples to sing Yashamati Nandana or Jai Radha Madhava, or to read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, from what I've heard. Some maybe.
Okay.
And yet our Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, what did he do? He brought Jai Radha Madhava all over the world. So somehow, some platform was eventually and gradually made by which these bhajans are able to be manifest. And it may be that in the future, they might be even more able to be manifested as the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and specifically what he gave through Rupa Goswami comes more and more to light, it may be more accessible. But still, we should be very careful how we are presenting, how we are sharing, because so many might not understand. The other day someone posted something online, a picture of Radha Krishna, some kind of cartoon-like drawing, and their main post was about the mundane idea that there is no difference between black and white, which is fine. But they posted Radha and Krishna and said, Krishna is black, Radha is white. Are there any questions? According to Shastra, we should not misconstrue or misuse Radha and Krishna in terms of the mundane affairs of this world. Their affairs are transcendental, completely out of this material world. Their complexion has nothing to do with karma. Krishna's Shyam complexion, his dark complexion, is because he is the personality of the supreme Vishai Tattva. That means he is the supreme enjoyer. And our Param Gurudev, he has spoken Sri Radha or Vinobihari Tattvashtakam, that just as black is the absence of all color, the absorption of all color in the absence of reflection of that color. That is what black is said to be, according to science. So Krishna, his complexion is darkish because he is absorbing everything. But Srimati Radhika, why is her complexion considered to be like molten gold? Taktakanchana Gaurangi. Why molten gold? Because she is the supreme personality of Ashray Tattva. Ashray means giving love and affection to Krishna. So all colors together, I think you may have done those science experiments when you were young. You know, you put all the different colors on the wheel and you spin it around really fast, and then you see, what do you see? White. So in this connection, our Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj was explaining that because her moods of ashray, of love and affection, she is the shelter or the source of giving love and affection to Krishna. Hladini Shakti. Because of that, her complexion manifests accordingly. So their complexions have nothing to do with the material world. Even those examples that he gave were just to give an idea. Just to give an idea, because we're looking at a material example. But actually their complexions are representative of their transcendental, absolute natures. Her nature, every particle of her being is made of loving service to Krishna. And every particle of his being is made of receiving that and also reciprocating with it. But receiving that, that is his nature as God. Everything is from him, but it is for his purpose exclusively. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Atmendriya Pritivancha Taribalikam, Krishnendriya Priti-Ipcha Dhare Premanam. That the desire to give or to please the senses of anyone of this world, the material senses of any Badha Jiva, or my own material senses, which I am also currently bound within this material body. Atmendriya Pritivancha Tare Balekam. To give pleasure to the material senses is known as Kam. That's another word for lust. Our Vaishnavas have described the love of this world as lust because it has selfishness as its root. Krishnendriya Priti Icha Dhare Premanam. And the tendency to give love and affection to Krishna. Krishnendriya Priti Icha Dhare Premanam. It is known as Prem because it has no selfish tendency whatsoever. Prem or divine love. So there's a difference between that. So it's very easy to misconstrue when we look at these verses, these prayers. Oh yeah, Radha and Krishna. Oh yes, Radhika is the girlfriend of Krishna. Oh, well, I'll have a girlfriend too, and I'll be just like Krishna. This is called Prakrita Sahajya, and our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas were firmly against it. They did not accept that one should look at Krishna in such a way, or Srimati Radhika in such a way. So they recommended that we become very well versed first. Most devotees, we have been hearing about the subject of Krishna for many, many years. The first 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam are explaining the absolute nature of God. And then gradually it comes to his personal, private nature in relationship with the Brajvasis, in Vrindavan, in relationship with Srimati Radhika. But some foundation is necessary so that we don't materialize Radha and Krishna. Because of this reason, they have told us to be careful how we share externally. So very guarded. Because anyone might show up and maybe they had no preconceived, no idea. They've never heard of Krishna before, and suddenly it seems mundane to them. So we have to be careful about not mundanizing Krishna and his pastimes. So now, again, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sometimes we don't sing the Radha Bhajan, but she's there in the first word of Mahamantra. Hare. What's the one we did with Maggie, way back? Do you remember?
Right?
Okay, I've got it.
Is it that one?
No, but it's close.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
It's too high.
Hare
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tilalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langayate girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times into the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaja, and the same thousands of Dandava Pranam into the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Vishnupad, astottara Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, to our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of those who are with us today, my Dandava Pranam.
Dandava Pranam.
So today is here for us, according to the time period, the anniversary of the Jiddadahi Mahotsav, which took place at Panihati. I've told this katha a few times recently, so I won't go into detail. But Sri Raghunath Das Goswami had been sent home by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he wasn't ready yet. Mahaprabhu warned him, he said, don't be like a false renunciate. Go home, be like normal in the world, so that no one can detect the mood in your heart. So once again we're hearing about keeping this mood inside. Don't be like a mad person. Develop your love and affection for Sri Radha and Krishna and serve them within your heart and your mind internally. When the time is right, Krishna will make all arrangements for you. So Raghunath Das Goswami followed that order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then by that, it's interesting. This is showing also for us the progress of the jiva. By the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one receives the form of his mercy as Guru. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. By the mercy of Krishna, one receives Guru. By the mercy of Guru, one receives Krishna. So Raghunath Das Goswami first went to Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu said, you're not ready yet, go home. When the time is right, everything will be arranged for you. So Raghunath Das Goswami then, after some time, was able to go and see Sri Nityananda Prabhu. And he was standing at a far distance, kind of hiding himself. But one devotee told Nityananda Prabhu, Raghunath Das Goswami is here. That time his name was Raghunath, I believe. So at that time Nityananda Prabhu was sitting there with hundreds of devotees around him, looking so beautiful, and pleasing and cooling like millions of moons. How effulgent and how beautiful. So they told Nityananda Prabhu that Raghunath is there, and he began to call, Raghunath, Raghunath, only a thief hides in the distance, come here. So Raghunath Das Goswami came forward, and he offered his Danda Pranam at the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu, who placed his lotus feet upon the head of Raghunath. He told Raghunath, that don't you know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is my property? And you have tried to take my property without first coming to me. So this is very important for us. Only by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu can we attain the shelter and mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why we chanted that bhajan today Nitai Patakamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Jechayai Jagatujurai. Only by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu can we attain the mercy of Radha and Krishna, whose form in this world, combined form, is as Sachinandan Gaura Hari. Nityananda Prabhu is Akhanda Guru Tattva, means the unbroken original form of Guru. Guru means who takes one from the darkness to the light. What is darkness? This material world. What is light? Our nature of eternal loving service to Krishna. So Raghunath Das Goswami received the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And how did he express that? Nityananda Prabhu ordered him at that point, you should use your money, what you are carrying with you, to serve all of the Vaishnavas. So from that point, Raghunath Das Goswami made a beautiful festival, invited all of the Vaishnavas from all the neighboring areas, so many thousands to come. And there was a big festival, Chidda Dahi Mahotsava. This Chidda Dahi Mahotsava means flat rice, they soak it in water. I remember when we were on Parikrama, they would soak it in the Kund water or any local lake water. And then they would offer it to the devotees with the yogurt. It's dahi. So they would mix that together and give it to the devotees. So Raghunath Das Goswami served all of the Vaishnavas and received their blessings and their mercy. And then Nityananda Prabhu sent him forward to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who still did not keep him for himself, gave him into the loving, caring hands of Swarup Damodar Goswami. And Swarup Damodar Goswami took care of and nurtured Raghunath Das Goswami with all of the moods of bhakti and devotion. So Raghunath Das Goswami then became known as Swaruper Raghu. Swaruper Raghu means the Raghunath of Swarup Damodar Goswami. So this is the anniversary of that day when that big festival took place. But that big festival is representative of what Sri Guru does when we meet with Sri Guru. He gives us qualification for what? Adhikar. Seva Adhikar. The qualification to serve. And who do we serve? The Vaishnavas. By serving the Vaishnavas, then they give mercy, they give blessings, and that increases our bhakti sukriti, the spiritual merit by which we will be able to ascertain, understand, and learn how to serve Krishna. So, Nityananda Prabhu sent him in this process. And we can pray on this day, which is the day of this time of Raghunath serving all of the Vaishnavas, praying to Nityananda Prabhu, to Raghunath Das Goswami, to Mahaprabhu, to Swarup Damodar Goswami, and to all of the Vaishnavas. Please be merciful to me. Please teach me how to serve. Please give me the qualification to be able to serve. Not everyone is qualified to serve. Srila Gurudev told that when I first came to the mutt, Gurudev is telling, he said, I was a new boy at that time. And I thought, let me serve. So during prasadam time, he jumped up and he grabbed the bucket to begin, of prasadam to begin serving to the senior Vaishnavas. And they told him, you are not qualified. You should sit down. What? But the junior should serve the senior. But they explained, you don't have the qualification. Prasadam is mercy, and mercy descends. Mercy descends. So it's not that you can come and give that mercy to who is senior to you. You must receive that. So, unlike other societies, I have noticed that in Srila Gurudev's society, when we would arrive in Keshavji Gaudiya Math or at Govardhan or anywhere, the seniors, the sannyasis, Srila Gurudev himself would walk up and down the aisles asking, is everything okay? Do you need more anything? Is there enough salt? If there's too much chili, I will beat the cook, he would say. So he would ask us, and then he would call, bring rice, bring dal, like that. Gurudev would come down the aisles. And so this is symptomatic of mercy descending from above to us. The seniors would be giving. And he engaged all of those sannyasis. For years you would see, they would be in the kitchen cooking. Then they would be giving Harikatha, they'd be taking us out into all of the places. They would be doing so much hard work, organizing and arranging and maintaining everything. And we would just be going along like exhausted, and my God, how they serve. But they were serving Prasad, they were serving the Hari Katha, they were serving the Hari Kirtan, and giving that mercy to us. So it's interesting how mercy flows. So we can pray to those personalities, please give me the adhikar, seva adhikara diye. Please give me the adhikar for being able to serve the Vaishnavas. The adhikar, the qualification for being able to serve Sri Guru. The adhikar, the qualification for being able to serve Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Raghunath Das Goswami ki jai. Sri Chiddadahi Mahotsava ki jai. Now, we will go beyond Vaikuntha. Once again, for those of you who might not have been here yesterday and the day before and every other day before that, Going Beyond Vaikuntha is the commentary by our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, full of so many transcendental emotions on the work of Sri Sanatan Goswami, the written work known as Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. It's not a work, it is a revelation, transcendental divine revelation, which is beneficial for all jivas. So, before entering into this book, we will pray at the lotus feet of our Srila Gurudev and at the lotus feet of Sri Sanatan Goswami. In the words Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Vairag Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnair Apayanan Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripam Vidirya Paradukuduki Sanatanastam Prabhum Ashrayami. Praying in the dust of the lotus feet of our Gurudev and Sri Sanatan Goswami, that may even a particle of their moods, which is present within these pages, manifest within our hearts. So yesterday was quite an interesting subject matter. Gopkumar was in Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means the land without kunta, without fear, without dualities, where everything is perfect and there's no distress. But Gopkumar in his heart was feeling some difficulty. But everyone else around him was experiencing everything as this is perfection. Why would you want to go anywhere else? So how do you speak to someone that I'm not feeling right in this situation when they are absolutely convinced that this is perfection? They wouldn't hear it. They wouldn't entertain it. It would just fall on deaf ears. So Gopkumar was feeling, in a sense, lonely in that situation that I cannot express. Gurudev said, if you have some deep, deep-seated thing within your heart, you cannot share that with anyone, not even your parents, not even your brothers or sisters. Only your deepest heart friend, your bosom friend, can hear that deepest requirement or that deepest pain in your heart. So Gopkumar couldn't say anything to anyone. But because that calling was in his heart, naturally, the Lord hears the crying of the heart of any individual and manifests according to that crying in the form of Sri Guru. So Sri Guru, in the form of Narada Muni, ascertained and saw what was the nature of his heart. Just as Narada Muni saw what was going on in Vyasadev's heart after he had compiled all of the Vedic scriptures, all the Puranas, all of the Vedas, Upanishads, everything. Still, Vyasa was feeling dissatisfied. So he was sitting there feeling in a state of dissatisfaction, and that state of confusion and concern attracted his Gurudev, Sri Narada Muni, to arrive there. Narada Muni immediately was able to detect what was going on in his heart, because he knows everything. He's aware of past, present, and future. He's present everywhere and sees everything. Gurudev says that. Shastra says that. So he was able to detect what was going on in Vyasadev's heart and told him, You are not satisfied because you have only told the world about dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. It means religiosity, doing the good things that you're supposed to do in this world, giving in charity, building hospitals, doing good karmic activities. Artha, endeavoring for material success. Kama, kama means sense gratification. And moksha, how to attain freedom from the dualities of this world. But moksha just means, in this case, cessation of suffering. So Narada Muni said, because you have failed to seek out the pastimes of Krishna and the love between Krishna and his devotees, which is the only thing which will make the jiva happy forever, you are feeling dissatisfied in your heart. Savai pungsang paro dharmo yato bhaktiradhokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. If you want to really be happy in your soul, and you also want to please Krishna, then the supreme occupation for all humanity is to develop unalloyed, unprecedented, unceasing love and affection for Krishna. This is Yato Bhaktir Adhokshaje. Only this will actually please the soul. So he told Vyasadeva, you should go into samadhi, meditate on the pastimes of Krishna with his devotees. You should see those pastimes and then reveal those to the world, and then you will feel satisfied. What manifested as a result of that, samadhi trance of Vyasadeva, is known as samadhi bhasha, the language of samadhi. And that manifested in this world as Srimad Bhagavatam, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered to be the spotless, pure, transcendental evidence. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. The point I'm telling you this is because Narad could detect what was in the heart of his disciple Vyasadeva. In the same way, he's able to detect what was in the heart of Gopakumar. He can see everything, past, present, and future. He knows everything. So there was something wrong. Gopakumar couldn't say anything to anyone. It would have fallen on deaf ears. So his guru manifested to him and gave him instruction. I would say guru manifested to him. Guru manifested to him many times in many different forms throughout many different lives. But Guru, Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada says, he said it in his 1936 speech that he gave on the, I want to call it a speech, Pushpanjali, the offering he gave on the disappearance festival of his Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. He was speaking to his godbrothers. And in this he said, Guru is one who appears in an infinity of forms to teach you, me, and all others. This is Guru Tattva. So Guru manifested again to him. And for us, we can also expect and hope. Guru has manifested to me in the form of Diksha Guru. Guru will manifest to me again in the form of Shiksha Gurus. And in the next life, maybe another Diksha Guru will manifest, and more Shiksha Gurus. Still, the principle of Guru is one. That is Krishna. Krishna in the heart. Chaitya Guru manifests externally to the external senses of the jiva, the bound jiva, the baddha jiva, the external senses, so that we can interact and learn and awaken our love and affection for Krishna. So yesterday we ended with this sentence. Narada Muni, with his eyes closed in meditation, ascertained the reason for Gopkumar's unhappiness and became very pleased. Why is it that seeing such unhappiness in another, he became pleased? There is one related story in this connection. Why do you think Narada Muni became pleased seeing Gopkumar's unhappiness? So Gurudev is going to tell a story. a history. When Uddhava went to Vrindavan, he saw that Nanda Maharaj was wailing in lamentation, crying for Krishna. Krishna was such a wonderful son, but now, leaving Nanda behind, he had gone away. Nanda was very unhappy, but what was Uddhava thinking? Today, I am supremely fortunate to have received the darshan of such an exalted personality who is actually crying for Bhagavan. So Uddhava is seeing Nanda Maharaj in such a state of lamentation, but he's crying for Krishna. So Uddhava is feeling so fortunate to see, wow, he is crying for Krishna. In the material conditioned state of life, everyone is crying for themselves. All for themselves. When a brother dies, for whom is the family crying? For the brother or for themselves? It seems that they are crying for the brother, but really they are not. If my brother had lived, then he would have given me all sorts of help. Now I am helpless. This is what they are really crying about. So, if you understand, especially in Indian culture, the family lives all together as one unit. They don't usually go far away from each other. Makes up the whole village. Look at the complex at Radharaman. I think 57 families live in that area. All one big family. All in so many apartments. How, 400 years or 500 years of generations coming from the original families that Gopal Bhatta Goswami put in charge of looking after and caring for and serving and loving and worshipping Sri Radharaman. So, in that culture, the brother, older brother, or any capable person in that family would be responsible for maintaining that family. And so it would be a very big deal. How will I be maintained? This person has left this world. So Gurudeva is saying, if he had lived, then he would have given me all sorts of help, but now I am helpless. This is what they are really crying about. Father has died. If he had lived, then very easily all of our desires would have been fulfilled. My wife has died. She was very beautiful and a great servant. Seating us comfortably, she would serve us food, water, and everything. Now she is gone. And the husband is left crying. But is he really crying for the wife? Really, he is crying for himself. So Srila Gurudev is making the point here that in this material world, really most are very selfish. And I already quoted that verse, Atmendriya Pratipancha Taribalekam. Bhakti Rakshak, I'm going to reference that verse again. Atmendriya Pratipancha Taribalekam. The desire to please my own senses. This is not love. What I have lost in connection with someone. This is selfishness. So it is not known as real love. So in this case, really he's saying he's crying for himself. Sri Bhakti Rakshak Sri Ram Maharaj calls this world the land of exploitation. The land of exploitation. This is the material world. Everyone is trying to get something from someone else. I want to extract some form of enjoyment, directly or indirectly, because we're trying to play the role of God. I want to be the enjoyer. The moment you fail to give me my happiness or pleasure, I don't want you anymore. And we see it all the time. One moment someone swears their undying love to their soulmate. And then someone else swears their undying love to that same soulmate. And that's the same soulmate who used to be the light of your life is being pleased more by another. Then you reject them, you hate them, you want to destroy them because they are not serving or loving you anymore. One moment they were the love of your life, the next moment they are the most hated thing. So this is the nature of the love in this world. What is the mood of the gopis in relation with Krishna? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu states in the very last verse of Sri Shikshashtakam, Ashlishyava pararatam kinashtamam adarshanan vanmahatam karotuba yatatatava vridhatulam pato maprananatastusa evanaparaha. Really, it's the definition of prema, beautifully expressed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our Gurudev paraphrased the definition of prema, that even though there might be every reason for it to break, not only does it not break, but it continues to increase more and more. This is prema, transcendental, divine love. So Mahaprabhu is saying, oh my Lord, you can do whatever you like with me. If you want, you can embrace me, or you can kick me far away. You can embrace another in front of me. You can do whatever you like with me. Even says lampato. Mahaprabhu is saying lampat. Lampat means cheater. You can do anything. This does not change the nature of my love for you. Mat prananatas tusa eva naparaha. You are always my prananath. The word Lord is put there as an English translation, but prananath. Nath means Lord and pran means life. You are my very life, the Lord of my life. And there is no condition whatsoever. It's unconditional. That's why Krishna said to the gopis when they arrived at Vangshivat, when he was playing on his flute, that beautiful full moon night on Sharad Purnima, he said to them, I have no way to repay you for your love and affection. Napareham nirabadya samyujam. Because you have given up everything for me, without expecting anything. For me, you have done this. I cannot repay you. The greatest thing I know is your love and affection. Therefore, you should be satisfied with that. Let your love be its own repayment. We don't have that kind of mood in this world. Someone disappoints us even a little bit. We're like, I don't like them. We'll turn on our own family members. Very easily. It happens all the time. Most of the biggest wars in the world that have ever been fought are among family members. Mahabharata, family members. So many difficulties take place. So the love in this world is considered to be tainted. It is tainted with selfishness, and therefore it's considered not pure, and therefore our Guru Varga have coined it as lust, because it is selfishly or self-centered. Whereas, what is for Krishna? Because it is the nature of every soul to love and serve Krishna, that is within our nature, and it is within his nature to receive that love and affection. Then if that is applied to Krishna, it is known as prema. So if in any situation a father is crying for a son, we can understand that actually he is crying for himself. But what Uddhav had witnessed was Nanda Baba really crying for Krishna, not for himself. Such a deep Krishna prema was inside of him. We should also aspire to be a little like this. If even one time, okay, listen to this sentence really, really carefully. If even one time we shed a tear that is actually for Bhagavan, then our lives will be meaningful. If even one time we shed a tear for Bhagavan, actually for Bhagavan, then our lives will be meaningful. Gurudev said Krishna likes one tear more than thousands of words. We can say so many things, but a tear is representative of what is moving in the heart. Krishna likes one tear more than thousands of stabas and stutis and prayers. One tear. But our hearts are not yet melted, and therefore, while chanting the holy name, our hair does not stand on end. While chanting the holy name, our hair does not stand on end. There are different bhavs. Means, what is it? Ashtasattvic bhavs. Transcendental emotions. 8 transcendental emotional manifestations which take place when one is really going deep in their love and affection for Krishna. And one of them is hair standing on end. We say it in the Sri Guru Bhashtakam prayer, Romanchakam Pashru Taranga Bhajo. Hair standing on end, tears flowing from the eyes, trembling, shaking, in ecstasy. So he says, as we are chanting, our hearts are not melting, and therefore our hair is not standing on end. Mahaprabhu himself said in Shikshashtakam, verse 6, Nayanam galar shrudharaya, Vadaram gadgad udhaya gira, Pulakair nichitam vapu kada, Tamanama grahane bhavishyati. O Lord, when, while chanting your name, will tears flow from my eyes like waves? When will my voice tremble in ecstasy and the hairs of my body stand erect? So he's asking, when will that day come? It's not that he wants to experience those, but that's the symptom of actually really serving Krishna and tasting the nectar of serving Krishna by calling out his holy names. Nayanam galat ashtu dharaya. When will tears pour from my eyes like torrents of rain? Badanam gadgad. Badanam means to speak. Gadgad means when will my voice choke up? Gadgad. Upon calling out your names. Pulakaira nichitam. Pulakaira nichitam means when will my hair stand on end? Bapu kada. Bapu means on my body. Tabanama grahane bhavishyati. When I am taking shelter of your holy names. What is the meaning of the word? Bhavishyati. When will that opportunity come that one day, while chanting Harinam, tears will come in our eyes? So bhavishyati is when will that come? Kada means when. Gurudev said that mood of when, oh when, that mood is the most important. Not thinking that I've attained something. One time there were devotees, Gurudev asked them, what does Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya? And they said, oh, my spiritual master has opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. And he said, have your eyes been opened? And they started doubting because they're still blinded by ignorance. So what could they say? They're not really open. We see so many times people say, my eyes have been open, but still fully absorbed in the material world, attachment to material things, dealing in material issues, material matters. This is not really open eyes. This means I'm still bound in samsara. Have your eyes been open? So he said you should personalize that prayer by adding the mood, the feeling. Instead of my eyes have been open, you will be lying to yourself. They're not open. We're still blind. So we should add when, oh when, will that day manifest in my life where my Gurudev will be so merciful to me that he will open my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Or actually the word Jnananjan is there. Anjan is like a kajal, the salve of love. What we put on our eyes, some kind of medicine, that I will be able to have divine vision, that my eyes will open up to the truth. So he said we should add this mood in there, when, oh when. And then the prayer will actually, there will be a mood of prayer. He also said it in terms of Gauranga bolite have kulaka sharir, Hari Hari bolite nayane babinir, ar kabe nitai chander, Gorana have sangsarabashanamor kabe tuchahave. And kabe, when? Ar kabe nitai chander. And when Nityananda Prabhu will give me his mercy, Gurudev said, no, don't say it like that. Change that word when from like, when Nityananda Prabhu will give me his mercy to when, oh when. When will that day come when he will give me his mercy? Instead of just saying it like, oh, one day he will give it to me. Instead, we should have this mood of prayer. Begging. Oh, when will you give that to me? Kabe habe bolo seydinay amar aparadha guchi shudhana meruchi kripa bale habe hriday sanchar. When, oh when will that day be mine? Bhaktivedanta Thakur is saying, Kabe habe bolo seydina amar aparadha guchi. When my aparads, my tendency to offend Vaishnavas, will disappear, and the pure name of the Lord, Shuddhaname, will dance on my tongue when I will develop real taste for the pure name of Krishna. When will that manifest in my life? When will that day be mine? So Gurudev said this is the most powerful form of prayer. So here Mahaprabhu is saying, when will that manifest? When will this happen? When, while chanting your name, will tears flow from my eyes? When will my voice choke up? When will the hairs of my body stand on end as I am reciting your names? So Bhavishyati, when will that opportunity come? That one day, while chanting Harinam, tears will come from our eyes in a continuous flow that will never stop. When will we be trembling and feeling our heart melting? Sometimes rolling on the ground, sometimes laughing, sometimes crying, and sometimes singing. There's that verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Evam vratasva priyanama kitya jatanurago drita chitta uchchai asatyato roti tiroti gayatyunmadavan nrityati loka bahya. All of these symptoms are mentioned. Evam vrata, one who takes the vrat to always take shelter of the kirtan, chanting the names, glorifying his forms, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna. Svapriyanama kirtya jatanurago, with so much love and affection, a heart melting. Drita chitta uchchai. Uchchai means very, very heightened state. Hasatyato roti roti gayati unmada. Like a mad person, rolling on the ground, sometimes weeping, crying, hair standing on end. But unmada, but nrittati loka bahya. Completely oblivious to what anyone would think, anyone would say. Completely absorbed deeply. Gurudeva is saying here, in a continuous flow that will never stop. Trembling, heart melting, sometimes rolling on the ground, sometimes laughing, crying, singing. Uddhava witnessed all of this and thought, today I am so fortunate to have the darshan of such a great personality. But what will I say? You are the most fortunate person? So Gurudev is saying, if it was me, I think, here, let me just read this. You are the most fortunate person? I am unable to say that. Should I tell him to go on crying, or should I try to so Gurudev is asking, but what will I say? So he's feeling today, I am so fortunate to have the darshan of such a great personality. There should have been a question mark here. Today I'm so fortunate to have the darshan of such a great personality, but what will I say? Right? I'm feeling that, but what will I say? You are the most fortunate person? As he's weeping and crying in separation, you're the most fortunate person. I'm unable to say that. Should I tell him to go on crying? You're so fortunate that you're crying for Krishna. Go on crying. Or should I try to console him and tell him not to cry? In this world, if a man is crying for Krishna, this is actually desirable. I desire to have sentiments like that also. If he is really crying in Krishna Prem, he is the most fortunate person. But how can I say anything? Cry or don't cry? I cannot say either of those things. What can be done? How can you tell someone whose heart is breaking in separation, oh, keep crying? And if you say, no, don't cry, then you're telling them not to cry for Krishna. So how can you say either? We should all cry for Krishna. It's quite an interesting, complex choice, isn't it? I can't say cry, I can't say don't cry. How can you pacify someone? So Uddhav could not speak even one word to Nanda Baba. Seeing the divine ecstasy of Nanda Maharaj, Uddhav felt that on that day, his life had become successful. And a similar sentiment came into the heart of Narad upon seeing the condition of Gop Kumar. He was feeling, You are so very, very fortunate. Even here in Vaikuntha, you are unhappy because you want Narayan to be Krishna. You want Narayan to be Krishna. This is quite interesting here. You want to take the cows out to graze with him, and you want to live with him. You want to put your arms around him and embrace him as friends. You want him to say, "Hey, Gopkumar, bring the cows over this way. The cows are thirsty. Give them some water." And with great love, you will follow the order of Krishna. You want that sometimes Krishna will embrace you, and sometimes you will embrace him. That you will eat together, and even with unclean hands, you will place food into each other's mouths. Not the cowherd boys. They're just simple village boys. They go out grazing the cows for hours in the fields, in the pastures of Vrindavan. And then comes lunchtime. It's not like they're all there washing their hands when they're out there having their snacks. They're all sharing it with each other. "Oh, look what my mother made today. Krishna, you should taste this." So much love and affection. Sometimes giving with their left hand, sometimes with their right hand, sometimes eating something themselves, sometimes giving it to Krishna. No mood of Aishwarya, awe and reverence, respect and honor like that. Only love and affection. Sometimes when Krishna is sleeping on the bed of Yashoda, you will arrive at his bedside with your body covered in the dust of Vrindavan and say, so Narad is continuing, this is like telling to Gopkumar, sometimes when Krishna is sleeping on the bed, you will arrive at his bedside in your cowherd boy form, with your body covered with the dust of Vrindavan and say, "Hey, don't sleep now. The cows have arrived at the door. Let's go." You want to do all of this, and it can be very easily achieved as a sakha. So Narada Muni is telling here, you are unhappy here in Vaikuntha because you want Narayan to be Krishna. But in Vaikuntha, Narayan is not manifesting as Krishna. He cannot run up to Narayan and embrace him. There's too much Aishwarya there. He is the king, the supreme lord. And no one can just run up to the king or the supreme lord, the emperor of all creation, and just embrace them. He's not able to experience this kind of relationship. Although they are not different, essentially, in terms of tattva, the essential background truth, there is massive amounts of difference in terms of the rasa in which they express, the nature of the relationship and what goes on within that relationship. Narayan is not that form of God who reciprocates like that. Krishna is. So Gopkumar was not satisfied there. Narayan is manifesting a certain function. Ram adi murti shukalani amina tishtan nanavataram akarod bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhavat paramapumanyo govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Sri Brahma Sanghita states, Ram and all other forms of the Lord, they are like a phase, a manifestation, like a phase of the moon. You see it in different phases, sometimes half, sometimes full, sometimes very thin, and sometimes you don't see anything at all. It doesn't mean the moon is not there. It doesn't mean the moon is not full. The moon is always full, but it is manifesting different aspects. So Sri Ram is known as Maryada Purushottam. He is the Supreme Personality of manifesting, maintaining, and presenting the proper following of the rules and regulations of scriptures. This is the nature of Ram. Mahaprabhu is known as Prem Purushottam, who's always tasting Krishna Prem, and also awakening that in others. Krishna is known as Lila Purushottam, the Supreme Personality of experiencing transcendental loving pastimes with his loving devotees. All Leelas. This is Krishna, his nature. Narayan is Aishwarya Tattva. He's Krishna, but his nature, or the way he expresses in that particular aspect, is in Aishwarya Dham. So all in the mood of opulence, awe and reverence, greatness, offering prayers. Like when Arjuna saw the universal form, previously, what was he saying? Oh Krishna, you're my dear friend. They would sit on the bed together, they would eat together, they would share, they would joke and laugh together. And then he saw the universal form of Krishna. Virat Rupa. What happened as a result? Oh my God, what have I done? I have made so many offenses to you. I was calling you friend. I was sitting on the same bed. I was eating from the same plate. I was joking with you. I have made so many offenses to you. Please forgive me. And he began offering stabas and stutis, prayers. Prasida Devesha Jagannivasa. All sorts of lofty prayers glorifying the awesomeness of God. What happened to Mother Yashoda when she looked into the mouth of Krishna? He showed her the universal form as well. She saw the entire universe and all of its planets. Then she saw the earth planet. And then she saw Vrindavan. And then she saw herself looking into the mouth of Krishna. She didn't think, oh my God, you are God. She thought, oh my God, maybe a ghost has possessed my son. I should do something to ward off any evil presence. So she smeared black kajal on his eyes, put a black spot on his face, tied a black belt around his waist, tied something else here, gave him some kavachas, had Brahmins chant mantras and bathed him in cow dung and cow urine and everything else. And he was like, I'm not going to show my mom that anymore. He didn't want to show her that universal form. She was not confused by this Aishwarya, this amazing opulence. She only thought, this is my son, let me protect him. Because her Vatsalya Prem is so great that it cannot be covered by the awesomeness of Krishna's Godhead. So here, Gurudev is continuing with the mood of Narad Muni, saying to Gop Kumar, hey, don't sleep now. Gop Kumar, is saying to Krishna, hey, don't sleep now. The cows have arrived at the door. Let's go. You want to do all of this, and it can be very easily achieved as a sakha. Sakha means cowherd boy. Cowherd boyfriend of Krishna. And gopis are called sakhi. That means cowherd girlfriend of Krishna. But what does Narayan do? Someone writing something? I keep hearing some dings. Sorry, I'm just going to check something, make sure I'm not missing something. Because I keep hearing, I think maybe someone is sending a message. Let's see. Pardon me, we're almost finished here. Okay. Oops. Okay. Sorry about that. Accidentally sent that. Lent on my phone. Hare Krishna. Oops, somebody just wrote something. Was it Jiva Bhavana? So, what does Narayan do? When you go before him, he lifts his right hand in bestowal of blessings. May all auspiciousness be upon you. Saying, Namo Narayana, Namo Narayana. Everyone is offering pranam to him. He lifts his hand and gives this blessing. You will be fearless. All good fortune shall attend you. You want to race to embrace him, and you want to play the flute with him, but you are not able to do any of this. You desire to sleep on the same bed with him at night, but by cleverness and trickery, or by some other means, Lakshmi Devi sends you away. And when you don't leave, what does she do? She calls the doormen, Jai and Vijay and says, he is not obeying me, and she has you removed. When you sing Shri Krishna Gopala Hare Mukunda, O Govinda, O Nanda Kishore, O Krishna, O Shri Jashoda Tanai, O Shri Balavi Jivan, O Radhikesha, be merciful to me, and play the flute and express a desire to take the cows out to graze. All of the residents of Vaikuntha abuse you and say, hey, what are you saying? Narayan Prabhu, the controller of the controllers of all the worlds, you are calling him Gopal? And say that you will take cows out to graze together? You want to make him the guardian of cows? You say that he milks cows? That he's the lover of some cowherd women and the son of a milkman? You say that, entering the home of a milkman together, you and he will steal yogurt and sweets? You call him a thief? You are disreputing him. You should be saying that he is Vishnu, who possesses thousands of heads. You should be glorifying him in the form in which he gives blessings and good fortune to all. How can you say that he is a milkman, a thief, and a liar? You shouldn't do this. Saying this, they will all make jokes and laugh at you. So, just one more paragraph. 1.5. Because it's flowing beautifully. I don't want to break this part up. Some say, my friend, it's true that Narayan became Krishna, and for his own pleasure and the amusement. So some of the Vaikuntha-vasis may even have knowledge of Krishna. Some may. And they will say, my friend, it's true that Narayan became Krishna, and for his own pleasure and the amusement of his devotees, he performed some pastime. But those pastimes are not important. This is Vaikuntha. This is Vaikuntha, not Braj. You shouldn't speak of such things here. Hearing them speak like this, you constantly feel ashamed. Because they're mocking. They see Narayan is everything. Krishna, yeah, he's Narayan avatar, but it's not so important. We have association with the real deal. That's not so important. Suppose a cowherd boy such as Sridham or Subal were to go to Dwarka and see Krishna. They would see that Krishna is seated there in the royal Sudharma assembly house as Dwarkadhish, the Maharaja of Dwarka. Ugrasen, Vasudeva, and all the elders of the Yadu dynasty are seated at his right side. Gargarishi and many other eminent sages are seated in front of him. His sons, Samba, Aniruddha, and Pradumna are seated at his left side. And behind the curtain are Rukmini and Satyabhama, along with Devaki and the other queens. Now, if some cowherd boy arrives in that assembly, how will he appear? In cowherd dress, with a bent stick in one hand for guiding the cows, and a bamboo flute in the other. It will be early evening, and having just returned, so Gurudev is saying, now if some cowherd boy arrives in that assembly, how will he appear? In a cowherd dress with a bent stick in one hand for guiding cows and a bamboo flute in the other. It will be early evening, and having just returned from taking the cows out for grazing, he will be very dusty and in need of changing his clothes. If he arrives in that assembly, he will want to embrace Krishna. But Krishna will only sit quietly, glancing at the gop only once and not again. This is sad. We're not supposed to end on a sad note.
Nope, that's it.
Hare Krishna.
Gotta come back.
Gurudev would always say, Madhurena Samarpayat, all is well that ends sweetly. See, Rupa Goswami.
A glance of Krishna is not sad, even if it's only once. That's how it's sweet.
Krishna, he wants to embrace Krishna, and Krishna will only sit quietly, glance at him once, and not look at him again. How heartbreaking would that be? No, Rupa Goswami had written, was it Bhagavatamrita? No, Hansadutta. And Raghunath Das Goswami was reading it. Was it Hansadutta?
I think so.
Yes.
He was weeping.
He was weeping inconsolably. And he couldn't stop.
He was reading the manuscript.
And he was crying so much that his tears were landing on the ink. And it was completely ruining the manuscript. Rupa Goswami was thinking, what to do, what to do? So he went into his heart and witnessed this beautiful pastime, Dan Keli Komudi, and immediately wrote it down and presented that to Raghunath Das Goswami. And that brought him out of that deep-hearted, desperate state of inconsolable weeping. When Rupa Goswami presented this Dan Keli Komedi to Raghunath Das Goswami, then he became pacified and began to laugh. So Gurudev would always say, if any kirtan is going on and it is in a very sad place, don't leave it there. It may be that any pure Vaishnava, Mahabhagavat, is present, and if they hear that, they may be left in a state of desperation. So he said you should always end in a high note, in a happy note. So you see, whenever we're doing like calling out any bhajan, let's say any sad bhajan, right? No, what's a sad one? Anyway, we will always end with Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna. Yeah, Gopinath Mama Ni Vedana Shuno. You look at that and it really is heavy. Breaks your heart. You begin weeping. You can't just keep it in that place. It's too much. So then you come into Krishna He, Krishna He, Krishna He, Krishna He. It's not that we shouldn't enter that, but Gurudev gave that instruction. So on this high note, glorifying Dan Kendlu Komedi and Raghunath Das Goswami, we will end for today. Wow, how beautiful is Gurudev's description. How he's manifesting this. His heart is one with the heart of Sri Sanatan Goswami as he is manifesting this Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita in his own words for the benefit of the world. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Sri Sanatan Goswami Pada ki jai, Sri Gopkumar ki jai, going beyond Vaikuntha ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. You?
Give me a tune.
I don't have one.
You sing it. Yeah, I heard it. Evening tune. I'll do evening tune. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Hari Bo.
So thank you very much for being with us today, for giving us this inspiration and opportunity to continue serving our Srila Gurudev. Many years ago he told us that even after I'm no longer on this sphere, I want that you continue traveling and preaching my mission everywhere. His order is our life and soul, and you are enabling us to have life and soul. So thank you for that.
Dandavat Pranam. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Radhe Radhe. Drummer extraordinaire. Hari Bo.
Hari Bo.
Dandavat Pranam, dear devotees.